That one. Oh, that's going to be a second. That's his first load after his reboot. There, you can find the interview there. Hanny, I mute my own team when drafting. Although it looks like Fly is actually drafting tonight, so we'll see how that one goes down. And for those confused, Hanny is actually JK. Anyway, welcome back everybody. You are watching the Premier League Season 3. Now this is a restart. We've had Take 2. Now they're going with the same bands again. Both teams have already decided on that. And we do have Team Empire versus Fnatic. Now Fnatic, of course, everyone loves to call them Hon Trash, but your tears just fuel their rage. And Empire, wow, okay, Batrider straight up. We have Darkseer though for Fnatic. What will they grab up next? It will be the Magnus. Double vacuum there. Double suction power. We'll see what it does, but unfortunately, they have allowed. And there is something we haven't seen in a while. Wisp is something that gets banned out quite frequently, especially against Empire. But the Chaos Knight is the interesting factor here. We've often seen him overlooked in favour of both Tiny and Sven. A lot of teams preferring that. Even Nake's thrown into the mix there every now and then. But Chaos Knight has been largely overlooked lately since Sven has been popped out quite a bit. That said, it is pretty much a powerhouse combination in the hands of Empire. Of course, Funnick, the man with the game sense, who will be playing that Wisp more than likely. He is going to cause all sorts of havoc for them. That said, Fnatic may actually just group up and push here. That's one of the issues is, though, it's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation with Wisp. What happens is, if you split up to split push against Empire, what will happen is, Wisp and Chaos Knight will pick people off. They'll go, there's a 2v2, or maybe a 2v3, or even a 1v2 that we can just sort of pick off heroes, while we sort of force this bit of a split push. If they group up and push, we can farm until the last moment and just tap more sources of income, and then as soon as the fight kicks off, we can be there killing people. So it gives them that huge powerhouse mobility, and one of the ways you can shut it down, of course, is to throw in something like a disruptor there to force them to come to the fight a lot earlier, so they can't just sit there farming. And this is particularly devastating. You have something like a Sven who farms like crazy. That is definitely a very good way. That said, they might just say, well, let's go with some really, really strong teamfight potential here. They've got the Darkseer, they've got the Magnus, they might see a couple of big AoE ultimates, or big, well, obviously we've already got Magnus's big AoE ult, but we might see a couple of, really, really devastating AoE ultimates such as Black Hole, Burst Damage from Queen of Pain, that sort of business. Might even see Empire ban out some of that AoE firepower in a minute. I would not be surprised if we see something like Queen of Pain banned out shortly. But they have also banned the Broodmother here. It looks like Empire are worried about that suicide lane potential. Now the question is whether or not Batrider is going to go mid, or if he will go in the suicide lane. I mean, he could even jump. We've seen teams do this when they decide the suicide lane is too hot. Batrider says screw it and he just goes to the jungle, which is always a distinct possibility. But we will have Windrunner banned out, and in fact both teams banning out some of the suicide heroes here. Lone Druid also removed from the mix. Fnatic not able to get their hands on that one this time around. Looks like they might actually be... Empire may actually be thinking of running a tri-lane hero, at least running several heroes in the jungle, because they are somewhat worried about those suicide heroes who push really well. Of course, Lone Druid can push extremely well, can just jack that creep wave off the tower very easily with the bear if he wants to, and of course the bear does do considerable damage to the tower once it levels up. And of course, Broodmother, you leave her alone with tower, she takes them very quickly once she gets her Spiderling spam up and rolling.
10 seconds remaining.
Fnatic now with the 4th ban. We'll see what they remove here. Empire are looking probably for one more support. Most likely, I feel they're looking for a solo mid and another semi-support. Batrider, I feel, is probably going to be in the suicide lane. Oh, okay. We have a Chen banned out, but yeah, Batrider, I feel, is probably going to be the suicide lane or abandoning it in favour of the jungle. I don't think he's going to be taking that solo mid. The question is what Fnatic are going to stick in mid. And like I keep saying, Fnatic do have a style that is all their own. They are very, very experimental with their picks and bans. But Nyx will be the next ban here from Empire. And this does make a fair amount of sense to me. It is a very good hero. A very strong hero at snipe. And if you try and like sort of split up, do your own thing, Nyx of course can quite easily jump someone and snipe them very quickly. As we saw last night, we saw Nyx running around with a Dagon in the middle of battle, just causing all sorts of havoc with it. That said, final ban coming up for Fnatic here. Well, they're worried about the Chen. Okay, the Chen's mostly because, of course, you don't leave Chen and Wisp and Chaos Knight, or rather Chen and Wisp in the same pool. If they get their Wisp, do not leave the Chen there because, of course, the heals that he can pop out is completely and utterly ridiculous with that tether. So they will want to remove that ASAP. They're not too worried about the push potential from the Chen, more just the whole fact that he can heal like crazy. But Furion will be the final ban for the match. Now Empire with the last piece. I believe they're looking for another semi-support or a hard support, and they'll be looking for a solo mid as well. Unless they plan on putting Batrider. If they put Batrider mid, then they're probably looking for a suicide solo, but that's it. A lot of the good suicide as well. Okay.
Dire team pick.
That's a little different. I guess they might be... This could be a support Sven. That is a possibility. I feel it's unlikely. Unless they're planning on dual lanes. I mean, dual lanes are a possible. They might be planning to put Chaos Knight and Wisp together in the bottom lane. And then they could be putting Sven and, say, Crystal Maiden in the mid. Another support who works with that. Something like Alina is also possible. Any kind of soft support hero that has a stun that they can run the mid. And would do really good work at shutting down the mid. Batrider may just be taking that suicide lane, or like I said before, just jungling. That is also possible. Unlikely, but possible. I mean, the other choice, of course, is a soft support Sven, which I tend to dislike because Sven then sort of turns into an armor buff, and an armor buff and a 15-second cooldown on an AoE stun, which is kind of meh, I would say. Tiny though, the next pick for Fnatic. Maybe seeing a carry Tiny here, but Vacuum. Wow, the polarity shift, the Vacuum, throwing some AoE stuns there from Tiny as well. If they pick another AoE stun, this is going to become very, very scary from Fnatic. The fact that they are going to have, we call it almost a noob combo, the fact they're going to have a lot of stuns. That said, Empire also, they have a lot of stuns as well. In fact, both teams are going to have a lot of stuns. Any hero who steps out of line here is going to get caught out very, very quickly. I am interested to see that if Shadow Demon can really turn the tide, because he has the ability to save. Basically, if Sven and Chaos Knight start focusing on a hero, Shadow Demon can take them out of the mix and get a good save in there with Disruption. But we'll see what they have in mind. Of course, Sven, if he gets disrupted in the middle of a fight as well with his ult up, that can cause a lot of havoc at the same time. A lot of illusions going to be running around in this field between Darkseer and Shadow Demon. People asking where's Na'Vi. Na'Vi are not in the Premier League. They were invited, they did decline, so there you go. We did ask them, but they didn't want to play. But anyway, Empire with their final pick here. I get the feeling it's going to be a solo mid. However, they might decide to do something different and run the dual lanes. That is also possible, in which case it might be some kind of soft support to work with Sven. Most likely have some kind of disable. But we will see in just a moment here. In fact, something like Crystal Maiden would almost work really well just because the armor aura, or not the mana aura would help out Sven, both Sven and Chaos Knight quite immensely. But they are going to burn down their time. They've got 30 seconds of overtime left, so plenty of time here to decide what their final hero is going to be. I do like the fact, I would like to see the Sven farm, because that would give Wisp options. It would allow him to be a little bit more unpredictable in fights, and also just give him options in terms of, if Chaos Knight or Sven gets picked off quickly, he has another hero to quickly then jump, basically latch onto, and just buff up and turn into a powerhouse hitter. On the other hand, you look at that team, that is a team that has a lot of potential to pick people off. Of course, Tiny, Bang, Darkseer, just pull people out of position. Completely shut him down. Of course, shattered him with a damage amplification, and it will be dual lanes. Lina, the final pick here, so it's probably going to be Wisp and Chaos Knight. I say Wisp and Chaos Knight together, mostly because Tether works really well with Reality Rift. Chaos Knight drags him into the Tether stun, which sets him up then for the Chaos Bolt. And I say Sven and Lina together because Sven, of course, Stormbolt, it's a classic pub lane. Sven and Lina together, Stormbolt sets up Light Strike away, and then Light Strike away follows up with, of course, the Dragon Slave, and then Laguna Blade as well, possibly after that. But now 30 seconds for Fnatic. I think they're looking for another soft support here, is my gut feeling. We might even see something like Magnus in mid, although this could be a rough mid, because we're going to have Sven and Lina most likely taking that dual mid, unless they're going for a kill lane in the top lane. I don't really feel that, because Lina would be a kind of an easy pick off there for them. But Enigma will be the final choice here. I get the feeling it's going to be Batrider either abandoning that top. I almost think it might even be a Batrider just going, screw that top lane, I'm out of here, and just taking the jungle. But Enigma to be the final choice here. Now I'm looking at this, so I get the feeling it's going to be Magnus solo mid, or it could be a suicide, but I'm taking the feeling he's going to be a solo mid. We're going to have Tiny in the safe lane, Enigma in the jungle, Shadow Demon backing up Tiny, and then Darkseer taking that suicide lane. But it's mostly going to come down to what is Trixie playing. Trixie is their go-to guy for the suicide lane, so we'll see what he's going to play. It looks like he will be playing the Darkseer. But let me just call out the players here. Okay, so we'll have a quick pause while we wait for Empire's blow your brains here. So, playing for Empire on the rating side, we have Goblin playing Lena, SS playing the Bat Rider, Scandal playing Sven, Blow Your Brains playing, who was that? Who was left there? Bat Rider, Chaos Knight will be played by Blow Your Brains, and then Funnick, of course, on his trademark Wisp. Fnatic now. They have Fly playing Shadow Demon, No-Tail playing Enigma, Trixie playing Darkseer, Error on Tiny, and Hanny, who was JK there on the Magnus. Now, speaking of weird things I've seen Fnatic do, Fnatic, of course, Fly was actually the one I saw build a Monkey King bar in an official match, an official Premier League match. He built a Monkey King bar and a Blink Dagger on Lena. That was a hell of a match to watch. That was a lot of fun. I forget who they were playing against, but it was a lot of fun to see Lena just spit and just drop her nukes and then spit out a ton of Monkey King bar hits. That actually did do a lot of damage. He was sort of playing her as a soft support, managed to get enough farm, put it all towards a Blink Dagger and a Monkey King bar. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. But when we wait for Blow Your Brains to come out here. Alright, so let's have a look at some of these items. Nobody's bought anything up here. It'll probably tell us, well, we'll probably know when we see what Bat Rider picks up in a moment, whether or not he's going to that suicide lane, or if he'll go to the jungle instead. Looks like another PC crash, brilliant. I get the feeling we're going to have Tiny in the top lane. We'll have him backed up by Shadow Demon. And the question is, if they abandon that lane quickly, it will allow Fnatic to take a couple of, like an early tower at the very least, just because they will have the Enigma there. Of course, Tiny can damage the towers as well if he starts spamming on top of that. And they will be able to spawn those illusions. As of course, we've seen those illusions been used. The Shadow Demon illusions have been used very effectively by some teams to push. And what they do is they have a powerhouse hero run up to the tower. They spawn those illusions, then they back off and just allow the illusions to work on the tower themselves. It is a very effective way just to basically remotely push the tower without having to worry about getting picked off. It is a very efficient way to do that. Anyway, Fnatic says, see you at LAN, confident as hell. Fistfight outside the cyber arena. Good luck against the Russians with that fistfight unless they're all drunk, which, you know, Russians and their vodka. We'll have Lena headed top. I don't think this is going to be any sort of trial. They're just going to sweep top together, and what they'll do is they'll just sweep top, and they'll try and just get those wards down for the Bat Rider. So it looks like SS will be taking this lane indeed. He will be trying to hold off this lane, and he should be able to defend it fairly effectively, just because he'll have that Firefly there, and he won't have too much, as long as he doesn't get caught. If he gets caught out of position by a bad disruption, then Tiny, of course, could slam him pretty heavily. He will need to be careful. But at the same time, Bat Rider has a fair amount of health, so he's not really that insta-givable. But that said, Enigma needs to be careful here because he could get taken out. Well, he is being backed up here. In fact, it looks like Blow Your Brain's going to go for it. No, changes his mind when he sees both the Shadow Demon and the Tiny hiding behind the tower. And uh-oh, Magnus also slightly out of position, has opened up with a bottle. We see Wisp now going down the... Uh-oh, skewer away, just skills him up his skewer in time, and it skewers up over the terrain there. And in fact, just going to walk into them anyway. No, he will manage to back off in time. I was going to say, classic. This is classic. Fnatic strategy, just to do something weird. Basically, what we'll normally see from a melee mid, or even just any solo mid at the moment, is the eco build. They go for the bottle rush, they go for 2 or 3 branches, 1 or 2 tangos, and they save that cash for a quick bottle, and they pick it up before the 2-minute mark, and then go and bottle that 2-minute rune. Magnus, on the other hand, decided, you know what, I'm getting my bottle at the get-go. I'm going to get it straight away and just get rolling, and unfortunately he's had to get the skewer up first, and this is one of the downsides here, of course. He wanted the shockwave first so he could start harassing and CSing straight away. As you can see there, Blow Your Brain's already starting to deny those creeps, whereas if he'd had that shockwave, he'd just get to work with it right now if he wanted to. Of course, shockwave is fairly cheap, so he can start spamming it fairly easily. And we see Darkseer is going to have a little bit of trouble here because of those stacking stuns. There we go, going to try. No, he doesn't have Surge. He's gone with Ion Shell first. I think this is definitely a very dodgy decision here. Needs to be careful. Light Strike away is up again. Catches Trixie once again. Should be able to back up here. I don't think Sven is going to run him down. He's going to lose that clarity, though. Going to have to potion up now. We'll need that level 2 ASAP. Of course, this is allowing him to CS at range going with the Iron Shell first, but of course it does put him at a severe risk of getting ganked. Speaking of risk here, that's also SS as well. Needs to be quite cautious here, getting too close to error. Or in fact, the Shadow Demon's really the one he's to worry about, because that's the setup right there. That is the setup right there with the disruption. Now Chaos Knight mid. Wisp going to focus on a little bit of pulling here. This is going to slow down Magnus quite significantly, and they've used that tether to knock down these trees here just so Wisp can actually get this pull happening. And this is definitely a very, very smart move. They realise, you know what, Blow Your Brains could probably handle this lane solo. This is going to be just fine. Even if he doesn't get the massivest amount of farm, mostly he's just here for the experience. They'll get ganky, and they'll worry about most of the farm coming from Sven. And Blow Your Brains will be here for the ganking, and this allows them to get ganking a lot faster because they'll be giving both Wisp a bit more experience as well as giving that experience there to the Chaos Knight as well, just getting him into levels. That's the most important thing here. And Magnus, though, does have his shockwave now. He can actually start harassing like that at a range. They've checked the top rune, don't find it at the 2-minute mark now. We'll probably see Magnus skewer his way to the bottom. And we'll try and pick that up. It's a bit of a gank going on bottom here. There it is. It looks like Trixie in a bit of trouble again. He's going to try and take him out. Gets the first blood there. Trades for a kill, but probably quite happy with that turnabout. Of course, it does give Sven a kill, but he's fairly happy. I mean, he is the suicide lane here, so if he picks up the kill and the experience for it, that's pretty much a good turnout there. Now, No Tail, of course, is free farming the jungle there. Isn't being interrupted here, and they should be able to take a tower around about the 5-6 minute mark if they wanted. They should have the firepower there to shut down the Batrider. And of course, we've got to keep in mind that Tiny, of course, is getting his own free farm up here. And of course, Tiny is very effective. You get those powerhouse hits in now. They're going to go with the Batrider. This is just a little bit of harassment here. It should be fine. It's going to hurt quite a bit, though, of course. The damage amp there from Soul Capture is always annoying. Always quite painful to get hit by. And there we go. Lena trying to pull the creep wave. Going to get jacked there by Trixie, who blocks. Make sure it's not going to happen there. Now he's actually going to give chase. Goblin now in a bit of trouble. Light Strike away. Not going to hit Trixie. Trixie going to harass him very heavily there. Of course, Iron Shell's not something you want to mess with. Level 2 Surge as well. Just for that extra speed boost there. He's in fact going to dance in amongst the creep wave. And try and pick up some last hits. Dark's doing okay. In fact, keeping pace there with Sven is probably the good deal. Probably the best deal he could hope for. The creep pull not really going to work out there. Thinking about doing it, in fact, maybe it's cleaning that up there in a second. There, the disruption. This is what I mean by the setup there. There's Soul Catcher as well. There we go. Avalanche on top of that. Here comes the toss. Tosses him up on the spot. Doesn't throw him further away there. Of course, not really much reason to throw him further back because, of course, it just can hit Firefly and run off in a completely different direction. Meanwhile, though, in mid, they will have a pick off there. Chaos Knight makes a massive mistake. They overextend. Shockwave comes out again. A double kill in mid for Hanny. Oh, Empire, they get too aggressive and they give Fnatic another kill there. And I know, in about 2 minutes when the chat catches up, they will be already screaming out Hon Trash in the chat. Meanwhile, potential kill up top lane. Again, no, not going to happen here. But they will go for the push. Fnatic doing quite well indeed. And of course, Fnatic quite brazenly have said, see you at the International 3 to me. They said, haters, see you at the International 3. They're quite confident they can take this. There we go. They're just going to knock down this creep wave fairly quickly. Buy time for the catapult to get another creep wave stacked up with this. This is probably going to have a tower taken down as well. Batrider trying to stave this off. Not going to happen at the moment. Not with the power of Enigma here as well. They will actually pop out another conversion just to buy time here. As it looks like he's just going to change the aggro. Very efficient there. Tiny, though, going to aggro for a little bit here. Changing it straight back to the creep wave. And there we go. There is a 5 or nearly a 5-minute tower. Bit of a dive here. And this is a lot of wasted time for the mid lane as well. They came bottom to get a gank in. Don't find it. In fact, okay, they didn't come bottom for the gank. They were in fact chasing the Magnus there. But there we go. Top tower is down here. Tier 1 is down. I think they're saying, oh, what are they saying? They're just dragging a circle around them saying, look out, there's trouble here. We'll have Magnus rotate back to mid here. Not missing out on too much. Has picked up a bottle there. Has also picked up some wards on top of that. Not sure if they were his or someone else pulled them for him. And now there we go, the Soul Catcher going to try and pick up another kill. Avalanche comes out again, hits SS. The toss doesn't come out though, has to watch out for the Firefly in the tower, causing a lot of damage there to Error. We'll need to back up indeed. Meanwhile in mid, Hanny just hitting that haste rune, and they won't be able to bring him down there. They did go for reality if they tried to take Hanny's life, didn't happen once again. Need to be careful. Hanny now having his ultimate can cause all sorts of havoc once again. Though Darkseer picks off Sven. What is going on? Did he just die to... He just died to a creep with Ion Shell. What is this? Empire on tilt or something. This is absolute madness. This is a best of 3, I've got to say. This is a best of 3, so this will, I mean, I'm going to say Empire not playing there. This is definitely not them at their best. They will be playing a second game at the very least, and we'll see, of course, whether they can get things back on track, because I still pick them as a favourite team. That said, Fnatic all over the show, they are really causing some havoc right now. Sven just died to a creep with Ion Shot, and Darkseer was nowhere to be seen, although they might actually get a revenge kill here on Darkseer. Going to surge, here comes the stun, tries to dodge, not really much you can do to try and dodge a Stormbolt though. That thing is like a power shot, it just does not care what you think of it. It will chase you to hell and back. That's done. This Stormbolt and Shackle Shot are the two peas in a pod. They don't care if you try and disjoin. They don't care if you teleport. They chase you. They just will not give up. But here we go. Tier 2 tower coming right up if nobody ports up here to try and defend. In fact, Magnus is also here. He's looking for an angle to skewer. If SS comes up to here, they might just dive on him. Whoops, wrong button there. They might just dive on him like that. I don't think he knows it's waiting. There he goes. Skewers in, looking for trouble. Pulls. Oh, misses with the polarity. Nice attempt anyway. In fact, Aaron needs to be careful. They're going to aggro the tower. Take a fair bit of damage. Has gone for a Midas. You know what? He's got the extra gold. Can indeed gun for it. There are disruption there. Are they going to go for this? It looks like they may change their mind here. Aaron thinks about it, but I think they just think, you know what? Ports could be dangerous. In fact, speaking of dangerous, here they come. Reality Rift here on Magnus. Magnus doesn't have an ult up. A stun. Cow Spot goes down on Fly. Now they might lose a lot of heroes here. We will lose Tiny there in a second as well. Tiny, oh, actually no, pops his magic wand. Might actually get away. Black hole from Nick. Here's the save. No Tail going to give up his own life more than likely. It's going to have another Stormbolt up in a second. There's the Cow Spot. A Stormbolt to finish. We will lose the Shadow Demon as well as the Enigma, so they will lose 2 in return, but however, they do manage to get Hanny out along with Tiny, and Tiny's the one that they get out there. They do manage to save him there, but that's 2 big ults, unfortunately wasted here. Fnatic making a slight misplay in terms of that polarity. Was slightly too aggressive on the dive there. Meanwhile, though, shutted him back to mid and the bottom lane. We'll have Trixie causing some more harassment there on Goblin. Trixie just going to back off there as he sees a teleport coming in, which is actually Boy or Brains coming up by himself there. Fly just going to catch up from some farm. As we will actually get another kill there on top. Wisp getting picked up by Magnus. In fact, not even having to pop that double damage rate, we have some trouble in the bottom lane. Trixie there. Nope, not going to clash with him. It's more than 1 kill a minute at the moment. Meanwhile, Shadow, in fact, I'm going to bring the gold chart now. We are up to a 4k lead for the Dire team. In terms of gold experience-wise, around about a 2,500 experience lead as well. And Alina just going to be stacking that creep camp there. Now, just bring up the gold charts at the moment. Sven hasn't got as much farm as he'd like there. 24 and 8, 33 and 7 for the Chaos Knight as well. Meanwhile, in mid, there we go. There's that Reality Rift, Chaos Bolt, and the Tether. That is a lot of stun. That's more than 6 seconds worth of stun there. That is pretty damn brutal to have to deal with. Meanwhile, the top lane also picks up their own kill. Batrider tries to escape. Not going to happen though. The double damage rune for Hanny, allowing them to bust him down. Tiny with another Midas coming up in a second. Meanwhile, in mid, possible gank attempt on bottom, although they pick him off already, so it looks like the teleport unnecessary. No, it's gone to the top lane instead. They're trying to pick up Tiny, although there we go. Avalanche gets tossed out instead there. Do we have a spell here? There's a shockwave coming out. Won't be enough though to kill him. A Reality Rift back. It's a Magnus now. No, they're going to teleport back out just in time there. It's about to say Magnus was about to have a skewer come up, and that could have gone south. Wisp. I guess the defense here against Wisp and Chaos Knight to be a bigger badass in terms of Hanny. Just every time they try and gank him, he just turns around and just tries to wreck them instead. Every time they try and gank him, just says, it's not happening. Let me try and kill you. So cute, they brought me food. Meanwhile, Wisp going to head top once again. Looks like they've already got Batrider trying to stave this off at the moment. We will have another port coming. It will be the Chaos Knight coming up top. Now, do we have ults up? We don't have a black hole for 40 seconds. Polarity's also missing for another 50. Look at Tiny's build. He's actually taken a level of growth ahead of finishing off his Avalanche at the moment. In fact, they are just going to back up here. That's a Shadow Demon illusion. Where's the real one? There's the real one. He's just skulking, waiting to see if somebody comes up here so he can disrupt them and try and set up a kill. Coming out there. We will have the rest of Tranquil Boots being picked up. Meanwhile, in mid, It's a reality rip. Here comes the Chaos Bolt. 3 seconds there. Will he have enough time to get away? Can he get a skew off? Not in time. Here comes Darkster as well, surging in. Can he get a vacuum off that will help out? We still don't have a black hole. We do have a black hole, actually. But they won't go for it. I don't think... Well, actually, they would have. They have a level 4 ion shell there. That would have done the trick. Between the vacuum and the black hole, that could have definitely killed some people there.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Sven being left to his own device in the bottom and catching up on that farm, 38 and 8 meanwhile. We have had Trixie return to that bottom lane there. It's going to bring up the net value here. Now we see Tiny is definitely well ahead of everybody else, 4,500 gold there. Of course, mostly it's come down to the fact that he's had free farm and he's been accelerating it there with that Midas. And once he gets that Arcanine Scepter up again, Tiny's just going to farm really well. That said, he's not going to be a farm as aggressively as he like, because he will have to be careful about Chaos Knight and Wisp showing up. And of course, they do hit pretty hard. Then again, once he gets the Arcanine set, he will hit pretty hard as well. They won't actually need to be worried. And here comes the setup there. We've got the Disruption Soul Catcher as well. We will. No, there's the Black Hole. Tries to go for the Phantasm there, but not going to happen, as Wisp unfortunately dives inside that Black Hole, and he will likely be the second sacrifice there. In fact, there's the Polarity also being popped out there by Magnus. Big cooldown there just for a Wisp kill, but you know what, this is going to open up the tower for them and get this tier 1 mid tower. They're still working on that tier 2 top tower as well, but they will get it, they will bust it down eventually. It is fairly low, almost in deny range. Now Lena going to try and nuke down this wave here. She level 6 yet, Disruption tossed out. We're going to have a skewer through here in a second there. Oh, she's trapped in by the illusion. She can't move. Pops out a Laguna Blade. Stormbolt from Sven. Will hit Trixie as well. Lena's down though. Can they save Trixie? Trixie with a surge up to 2 seconds. Should be okay. Another wow, another skewer being tossed out there along with a shockwave. And Hanny will take another kill there. Meanwhile, in mid, tower is denied and they will lose Shadow Demon. The tower deny is probably the big deal here. I will say Empire probably going to come out ahead here with another kill. Empire going to pick off Enigma as well. So they get a 2 for 2. They do lose to Sven, but they do pick up a tower tonight, and that's a lot of missed out. That's a lot of gold denied. Roughly about 600 gold there. Pegged, or basically denied there from Fnatic. They can't get their hands on it now. It was unfortunate that they managed to get the deny off there. Fnatic otherwise would have had a brilliant push there. Granted though, they did get a kill on Sven at the very least. Magnus though completely, and we've got to keep in mind, Magnus can actually, with the right amount of farm, Magnus can actually hit pretty farm. There's a reality rip. His skewers on cooldown as well. There will be no escape there. Wow. I'd say some interesting game sets there from Empire. They managed to pick up on that one, even though they had no line of sight to that position. Figured, you know what, someone might have just backed up and started farming that hard camp, and indeed they were correct. And was mostly just unfortunate timing there for Hanny, as he'd skewered there up onto the high ground. He didn't have his escape mechanism on cooldown. Oh, his escape mechanism ready to go there. Error though, still getting his farm rolling. We still see there the net gold there for Error, well ahead of everybody else right now. And it's just going to come down to him grabbing his Arcanine Scepter soon, and that's when things are really going to get messy.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
There we go, Trixie surging in. Will he try and set something up here? Shadow Demon's here as well. They might change their mind. There's the ult there for Shadow Demon. There's Disruption as well. Here we go. Tiny getting ready. Lena also moving in. The Avalanche getting tossed out there. Will connect with a stun. Maleficus also being thrown in for good measure as well. We're going to have a Light Storm. Wow, Laguna Blade actually going to shut down Magnus. And his reign of terror is apparently over. And a bit of overextension there from Notel. Notel also getting picked off. And it looks like Fnatic now starting to make some misplays. Reality Rip being cancelled by Trixie, jumping behind the trees, just barely saving himself. An Avalanche and a toss, picking off the Chaos Knight. Wisp teleport here. He will be back in a few seconds, or 10 seconds, and he'll be back here. Easy pickings for Fnatic. In fact, they're sitting around there going, will he bring a friend? No, he won't. I think he regrets teleporting out now. There we go, an easy kill for them. There we go, picking off that Wisp. An easy kill for them indeed. This is definitely some back and forth here. They pick off Magnus, however, then pick off Magnus as well as Enigma, then immediately lose their Chaos Knight. And that was a hell of a hide there by Trixie. Just that tree there. He cancelled the reality roof by ducking behind that single tree. Just jammed himself there, cancelled that, and bought time for a stun to come out and save his life. Amazing there. And it looks like Trixie will be working on the mech in a moment. Just looking at this farm right now, Sven trying to catch up, still around about 1,500 gold behind that Tiny there, and also Magnus, so his gap is starting to close there between Sven. Do have supports to the bottom lane here. Now the Dire have taken the tier 1 bottom tower. Still haven't seen this tier 2 top drop though. I think they might be making a move on that in a second there. Enigma just going to farm efficiently with that stack or restack there. Let's lean her up too. She's just gonna. I think she's gonna do some warding in a second there. In fact, a lot of here. Are they gonna take a run on Roshan here? I mean, that's a possibility. They've got the firepower. Oh, I doubt it actually. That would be a really dangerous Roshan to attempt. All the ults are up for Fnatic. They know because they haven't seen any of these ultimates, Polarity or the Black Hole, in quite some time. So they'll know what's up. Chaos Knight now working on his armlet. He has also picked up Bracer. Could be going. I think he was possibly thinking about doing some drums and thinking, you know what, I need some firepower here. We need to hit harder. The Dire team noticing that the ward's gone up here on the high ground. They know there's some trouble there. Trixie has to be quite careful indeed. There's a lot of aggressive firepower here in the... Wow, those iron shells. Funny getting way too close to them. Those iron shells really do a ridiculous amount of damage. They're going for a teleport gank though. Oh, they may regret this immensely. There's too much firepower up here. Although they missed the avalanche there. Black Hole being tossed down will only catch the Chaos Knight. Skewer also being used to bring him down there, as they will try and bring down... Oh no, Wisp not going to get taken out as well. Meanwhile, though, the tier 2 being harassed fairly heavily. Batrider now teleporting up into the top lane. Oh, Trixie teleporting up to the top lane. Is getting cleaned up very quickly. The firepower there from Sven. God's strength going to try and take him out there. Flamebreak going to knock back. Hanny, though, giving chase with a haste rune. Should be able to run down the Sven. He'll be able to finish him off there with a shock. Well, no, needs one more hit here. There we go. Another hit. And Sven goes down. The armor, the high armor level. Strong stuff there. And it looks like they won't guess that SS is over here. SS actually going to teleport away. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Tiny got the tower, but at the cost of his own life, will get picked off there by a Shadow Urn. Wisp going to get the kill there. Did he at least get the tower kill? Just looking for... Era did indeed get the tower kill, preventing the deny there. Now Magnus though has a blink dagger, and now we're going to see some crazy good initiation here. Of course, Magnus can choose to set up a big fight with his Polarity, or he can just try and skewer somebody out and force everybody to come, force the Radiant team to come and engage. And when they're forced to walk in and engage, that's when they're walking into a dark vacuum, into a black hole. That's when things really get messy for them. So I think it will actually be better if Magnus saves his ult and just tries to skewer someone backwards out of position. Meanwhile, the Empire, they will be putting the pressure on the top lane here. Trying to force Fnatic to come up here and defend and trying to set up a fight. Meanwhile, there's Reality Rift disruption, self-disruption there. Good save there from Fly. And there's the ult now on Blow Your Brains. A ward being tossed down as well. Looks like they're going to jump in there. Magnus blinks in, pops down his ultimate, vacuum in. Wall is tossed down, defends, or tries to trap them there. They may just run the other way. Goblin spawns an illusion there as it looks, will throw down the Laguna blade. Doesn't do enough damage. So No-Tail going to get picked off. They've lost Lena, but No-Tail down in return there. Still giving chase now. Funnick trying to get their hell out of trouble along with Blow Your Brains. We've got SS here who's low on health though. Can't really commit too much to the fight. And it looks like they will just trade 1-for-1 there. I think they did it wrong. I think they messed up there. They should have thrown down the wall, then vacuumed, rather than vacuum, then wall. That was a bit of a misplay, I feel. They tried to cut him off, but of course didn't really consider the fact they could just run in the opposite direction like that. And allowed them to back off. Of course, Cal's not quite spinning. In fact, he's looking for a kill here. Doesn't find anything though. Of course, the counter ward being thrown down by the Dire team to get rid of that Radiant ward that they saw. Mid-tower down though. Will they continue to pushing in a second, or will they back off? Meanwhile though, Sven of course farming away down here. It's just the fact that without the Midas he just can't really catch up to the Tiny. He's getting a little bit of ground right now because his cleave is allowing him to cut through the creep waves a little bit faster than Tiny. Tiny's been a little bit more involved in the fights. That said, Tiny is literally 50 gold away from finishing his Arcanum Scepter. And once that's done, well, you know what, the cleave advantage is gone. In fact, I would say Tiny has the better cleave there. Here, no. Are they teleporting? No, they're not teleporting just yet. Wisp working on a mech right now. Meanwhile, No-Tail working on a BKB here. In fact, BKB is, of course, really going to help him out against the mass stuns on the Radiant side. If they can pick those up, Tiny may even... I think Tiny will probably even want one just to help deal with those mass stuns. That said, though, they may just decide to cover... Just go for the full-on glass... Oh, not so much a glass cannon, but full-on powerhouse build there with Tiny. And just allow the stuns basically to protect him. Because they have a lot of good disables, as well as disruption there from Shadow Demon. As we saw, that could be a fantastic... a fantastic way to save your life in a tight spot. A really good reaction time there from Shadow Demon earlier in the top lane up here, where he just self-disrupted. You'll see a blink dagger there on Batrider as well. So both teams now with some initiation. I would say the superior initiation is in the hands of Magnus as he blinks away there. And like I said, that Stormbolt does not give a damn about your blinks or your disruptions. It tends to chase you and then smack you in the face. Now Fly just doing a little bit of stacking, and see, he's getting ready here. And I think the only reason they didn't start stacking earlier is because they have got a Sven on the other team. But now Tiny, his baseball bat is finished. He's gone and bought up his baseball bat. There we go. He's teleporting actually. Where did he go? There we go. He's gone to the bottom lane here. He's probably just going to get empowered up. Look at that damage. It's going to get retardedly huge. That empower, it's going to get massive. Once he hits his 16, and he has that maxed out empower as well on top of Tiny, this is going to get really, really scary. He's just going to be cleaving like crazy. And that's why they're stacking here, so you can just bust down this creep camp really quickly. There we go. Tiny just going to tear this tower apart as well as baseball. He's just baseball bat. Going to take it to your tower, vandalize it.
Double damage.
Funnick just going to grab. I think. Yep, there we go. Teleport scroll. Just making sure he has one of those on hand. And Lena actually bulking up a little bit here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's
Tiny going to take another tower here. That looks like Scamble's sitting around. Might get ready here. He's got his armlet done and dusted. Are they going to commit to this? It looks like they're just going to counter push them and say, alright, well, you take 2 towers in our bottom lane. We'll take 2 towers. Take your tier 2 mid. We'll take your tier 1 top lane tower as well. So we're going to see Darkseer surge, but unfortunately the stun cuts Tiny shot there. Goblin probably counting his lucky stars there. And it looks like they didn't actually get that mid tower. SS couldn't push that quickly enough. There we go. Tiny just going to cleave his way through that in a sec. They do take the tier 1 top tower at the very least, though. Sven, of course, up there, able to clean that one up in the end. Actually, no, not Sven. Sorry, that was Tiny as Chaos Knight as well as the Wisp, and that aura that we saw around the creep was the Buckler, not the Warcry. Tiny now, there we go, is going to try and take a 3rd stack before he goes for this. And I think this is roughly about 800 to 1200 gold, depending on the creep spawns that you get, if memory serves me correctly. A triple stack. There we go. They're going for the tier 2 top tower now. So it looks like they're just going to try and counter push the same though. They might actually need Tiny to stop what he's doing, come up here and defend in a second there. He was going to clean this up fairly quickly. There we go. Although he's going to come in at half health if they decide. That said, Trixie is actually going to force them back himself. Wisp as well as Chaos Knight decide to back off. They do have Batrider here as well. In fact, they're thinking about it. They're really, really thinking about it. And now reinforcements coming for the Radiant side. In the jungle here, we might lose No-Tail. No-Tail in a bad position. Let's get by the Light Strike away. There we go. Batrider jumping in the Sun's Laguna Blade. That was a bit of an over-commitment, I think. Possibly on top of the Enigma there. Now we've got the Reality Rift as well. Tennis done. They pick off Enigma, who bought back. Oh no! Even before the gold symbol had disappeared, they're already getting taken out there. And a massive blow there to Fnatic. They really misplayed that one there. And unfortunately, the ward really caught them out by surprise. Gave them vision there. And Empire completely jumped all over. This is one of the issues, of course. Either team, this can happen to either team. As soon as somebody steps out of position, gets in the wrong place, they get picked off so quickly. As we saw, both Shadow Demon as well as the Enigma, they just came out of position, got surrounded, and got picked off so quickly. And now the tier 2 tower from top lane's down. Tier 2 mid also about to drop in. Empire. They saw it opening and they made the most of it. Indeed, they really hit hard there.
Middle tower has fallen.
Magnus working on, I don't know what he's after there. He's picked up an Ultimate Orb. We'll see what he goes with. I mean, it could be anything from a Hex. In fact, they could even, I mean, against this team, I mean, Hexes are always good. They're not planning to go with some kind of... Often we see teams that they can't decide what to build on Magnus. Towards the late game, they often just build crits on him because, you know what, why not just cleave crits and just get some flat damage? Because Magnus can hit pretty hard if you give him just the right kind of items. That's it, though. It looks like they'll be putting all their eggs into one basket in the form of Tiny. Tiny actually... Now, is this going to be a Satanic, or will this be a Heart? We'll see. I think what they could do with, in all honesty, is some negative armor. Something that will be cutting down the damage they can deal, of course, is the armor effects there from Sven. Having some negative armor to help cut through that would be really helpful. An Assault Cuirass on somebody would be extremely beneficial. Even throwing, I mean, even if they can get a cheap medallion on someone else, like No-Tail, or if No-Tail's still working towards his BKB there. Did that... So we go Tiny giving their Aegis there. Meanwhile, though, they are threatening top tower. And there we go, a BKB also being built there for the Batrider, so we can just jump in and isolate somebody ASAP. And I think they might be... It seems like they're focusing the Enigma a lot during this fight. So they're really worried about that black hole setting them up there. And And how are we going in terms of items there for Darkseid? Darkseid's got his mech, but he's not too rich there. And now the gold is in fact favouring the Dire side, the Radiant side now. Switch from the Dire favourite to the Radiant, and that's mostly come down to the fact they took a lot of towers plus a big team wipe. Empire looking more like the old Empire that I used to know there. Now what is Hanny up to there with his item build? Oh wow, Tiny picking up a double damage. Has decided to go with a heart there. He's hitting for around about 800 damage at the moment, so you know you don't want to get on the end of that. I guess the big deal right now, the Tiny's kind of lacking in attacks. Well, he's sort of lacking in attacks, but he does have the Midas, so which is really helping him out right now. But that said, it's not as fast to say you see those old Mask of Madness. In fact, he might even try and do it now, though. That said, it's a lot of burst damage to amplify in the form of Lena. So he may actually change his mind on that Mask of Madness. That said, they could use a BKB even. That would be quite helpful. Of course, as we saw, a lot of lockdown there on Empire's team. They can take out anybody that they need to. It looks like they're going to go for a Chaos Knight kill at the moment. Chaos Knight also working on his BKB there. And might even be able to pick up Wisp if Wisp comes back. Now Wisp, of course, his mech is done as well, and that makes Chaos Knight very, very difficult to remove, especially with armlet toggling as well. It's fairly annoying there. And see the blink in there. We're going to see the skill to cancel. No, Avalanche will knock it off instead. There's an easy kill for them. Tiny being empowered there, hitting for around about 500 damage. That's nothing to be sniffed at all. We'll see if they go for the crits next on top of that, although he doesn't really have the attack speed right now for the crits. I think they could definitely do with the assault. It would help. A would really help defend him against Sven as well as a Chaos Knight. They are hitting quite hard. I think the assault would be a very, very good choice for him. At the very least, if he's not going to get, somebody else buys him some armor effects, because as you can see, he only has 8 armor there. And you compare that to Sven, once he starts buffing somebody up, Sven has 11 right now, and once he throws in the Warcry, dumps up another 16, so he's got 27 armor. It's quite hard to cut through. See Tiny though, going to work on this tower there. Going to throw out the vacuum there. Will they try and pick up Lena? 4 staffing away though. Is that hers? It is hers indeed. Still working on this tower. Tiny taking a lot of damage. May need to back up and start getting that health back. They are careful not to let it fall into deny range. Oh, does it? No, it's not within deny range there, so just back off. Let Tiny take that harassment. In fact, they might even just want Shadow Demon to disrupt him. Spawn those illusions and then go for this, although they have to be careful though. Just because at any given moment, they could use Wisp to teleport somebody out to try and threaten this top tower. In fact, they will just jump back and defend these lanes. Both lanes under pressure here. But they do a good chunk of... I'm actually surprised they didn't just disrupt Tiny and send the illusions in to try and go to town there on that. Now, Darkseid has picked up a Ghost Scepter here to help deal with the fact Sven and Chaos Knight, the other team, are causing a lot of trouble. That said, Lena, of course, got to watch out. Laguna Blades do sting when you pop Ghost Scepter. See, SS blinking in there, getting a little stuck at the moment. There we go, blinking out as well. Now, Blow Your Brains, how far away is he? He is currently sitting around about 800 gold there, short of his BKB. We also have Scandal there with a BKB as well as the Armlet and Mask of Madness. He's definitely going to hit hard, he's going to hit quick, so he's very much not a total glass cannon, but he still has to be careful, because if Tiny starts getting some big hits in on him, that is definitely going to hurt. Now, where are they going? They're looking for a smoke gank here. They want to pick somebody off. Both teams being very cautious, sticking together like glue, making sure that nobody gets caught out. Because if somebody gets picked up here unexpectedly, that is definitely going to be an opening for a team to push. See both teams under, well, basically, more so the Dire, because they've had so much damage dealt to this. And of course, Tiny can tear down buildings so quickly. They're still hunting for this kill here in the jungle. The smoke's about to wear off though. So it's going to just settle with farming and pushing here. They may just force this. They may just try and force a confrontation in the bottom lane. Sven though, going to find himself a bit of farm. They would still see the net value though. Tiny's still well ahead of everybody. Good 4k plus lead right now. I see him just bash down the creep waves there. And there we go. Here comes the assault now. It could be a Mjolnir, yes, but I do think it's going to be Assault, just because they really could do A, the negative armor effect, and B, more importantly, the positive armor there than Tiny. With both the heart and the armor given from an Assault, that will make him extremely difficult to kill for Sven, as well as Chaos Knight. Although, once Sven starts getting the big crits out, then that might be a bit less of a deal. That said, he is a fair distance off the big crits. He will need some more time there to farm the Daedalus, and both teams are still looking for a move. Oh wow, okay, that's actually going to be a Lincoln Sphere. But they are both still looking for an opening here. Not really finding it just yet. And we see Enigma, 1,300 gold short of his BKB now. I think he may actually just hold on to his money as well. He wants money back in case he needs to buy back. As we saw last time, he bought back into a fight, actually ended up dying horribly. Right, they might just try and finish the Lincolns in the assault in a second. They just keep Magnus alive in these fights, as well as Tiny. Now, we've got to keep in mind, Empire have to be more cautious. I feel Empire have to be more cautious just because a good initiation here from either the Enigma or the Magnus could completely spell doom for stuff, like doom for an entire team, whereas
Radiant's middle tower is
what
under attack.
Empire have and more have the ability to rapidly pick off solo heroes. We might lose one or two heroes here, which will leave them open to try and push tower, but for team wipes, the biggest potential to team wipe here is definitely on Fnatic's side, just because they have that vacuum, they have the polarity, and they have the black hole. That's the three big ones. And oh no, no tail going to walk in this, or will it be Hanny who's going to scatter out first? Empire also getting spotted up here. Now we're going to see Hanny. Is he going to go for the ult there? Gets caught there by the, unfortunately gets caught by that lasso there. They will pick off, quickly get rid of Darks here, as well as the Shadow. There's a triple kill straight up, and this is not a good result. This is what I mean, like the quick, rapid strikes there. They pick off 4 heroes one after the other, but it's not the huge combo team wipe there of just one big ult after the other. It's just too many heroes getting caught out one after the other, and unfortunately no vision there in the jungle. When they walked over here there was a smoke, and this is why they're saving cash for, or at least Enigma. No, he bought up something. Is it on the courier? He did buy up, indeed, there it is, it's in his stash. He bought up, and some Mithril Hammer, and Sven actually does have crits. He's got a Crystallis in the bank there. I think, yeah, he just bought that after that Ultra kill there. Oh, it's Fnatic. That is a hell of a turn there for them. That definitely was not a... No, it's definitely Empire probably cackling with glee after that. Wouldn't blame that. That's definitely a big hit. Oh, speaking of big hits, Wisp. Tiny decides to get a little bit of revenge here. Decides to beat the crap out of Wisp. Bit of a cheap shot. Indeed. I mean, Wisp, very easy target for him, but at the very least it's going to make it harder for them to push now that Wisp is down and out. And we have all the heroes back up and running now. I don't think any buybacks were used there, as far as I can tell. It doesn't look like any buybacks were used in the end there. Now Tiny, his assault is done now as well. They have to be really careful about how they lead with this. We see Empire looking for another gank here. If they can pick somebody off, they can just rapidly pick people off again. That could really undo Fnatic. It seems like when somebody gets picked off, Fnatic really don't know how to respond to that. When they start just instantly giving one person, they just steamroll over another person, give them 2. They can get, so it was just pretty much, I think it just went Hanny, it went Hanny, it went Fly, it went Trixie, and then they lost No Tail in the middle of that as well. Just one after the other like that. Tiny, his Aegis has disappeared. I don't think he actually had to expand it, just disappeared naturally. Meanwhile though, Empire might be looking for a push here on the top lane.
Middle tower is under attack.
Fnatic also scouting around. Neither team really finding anything though. See the Firefly and the smoke being used to great effect there, just to scout it out so they can see exactly what's going on beyond the trees. That said, of course, they're giving themselves away with a train of fire. But what they can do, of course, you pop the smokes, you're invisible, and then you can just see over the trees with the Firefly kind of business. Sven though, he's popped out his crits now and he's getting close. The Daedalus is on the way. He's got enough now for the Demon's Edge. And this is where things get messy. Now that Sven's got his crits, he's got his attack speed. Fnatic, they really need to be on the ball here. What Fnatic could have done to save that last fight was when Hanny got caught there by the lasso was to disrupt Hanny. Unfortunately, Fly could not get there quickly enough. They might just need a little bit more mobility on the Shadow Demon. But basically, if they disrupted Hanny, that would have brought time for Hanny to come out of the flaming lasso and then polarity them, and then of course that would have been a wipe after that. But they've got to really get on those disruption saves. That's definitely what could have saved that fight. And there we go, goes for the skewer attack, doesn't quite get it, and now they've got to be careful with error. Really need to be cautious about this. Meanwhile, SS just going to continue farming that camp down, and they're looking for another Roshan run here. There we go, Roshan's back up. Can they bust him down quickly? Meanwhile, Wisp, of course, is up here pushing with cast up, but they can teleport him when they're needed. There we go, Batrider coming in from behind. They've seen him there. Here we go. Can they get a pick off on Batrider? BKB's up here. Needs disruption. That's exactly what they need. The vacuum in there from Darkseid there. And will we see a polarity? No, he gets stunned. There's the polarity. That's what they need. We need a black hole now to come in. Although Enigma's already there. Not going to happen. They will manage to bring down both Sven as well as Batrider. Can they pick off? Blow your brains as well. Looks like Tiny has the power. Tiny does indeed have the power. Pricks off the Chaos Knight as well. Hanny's back in the mix. I think he may have actually brought back there. And now they're going to bring down the Roshan, and that is what I mean. That is just what they need. Disruption saves, and this time they got it off just in time there for Magnus. Gave them the chance to pick up that polarity, and they didn't even need the black hole to fall off. They just needed that stun, that hang time there for Tiny to pick somebody off and then just go and cleave the crap out, just basically bash everybody's brains in with his stick. And it looks like they know they've got an opening. They've got, okay, 30 seconds for Tiny to do some vandalism here. He goes, yeah, here we go. He knows, they know it, Empire know it. You see what he wants to break here. And he goes, a tower there. One hit, and now, pop your glyph. It's not going to save you, though. And then we got Vacuum in, an Avalanche not actually hitting. Doesn't matter, though. Tiny going to clean it up anyway. Tiny now with the Aegis on top of that. And there we go. This will be a Rax. 10 seconds. They've got the time they need because Tiny breaks it in about 2 hits. And I think they should probably play it safe here and back off. Here we go, they will back up here. And now Magnus tries to blink in and skewer somebody else out. Unfortunately, oh, backfiring horribly here. The stun gets tossed out. Light Strike away as well. Doesn't succeed. Now Blow Your Brains in the mix here. Laguna Blade going to strike him there as well. Arrow, though, not really. Oh, no, he cares about that. Those 900 crits. He cares about those. Trying to get it. Here's the Surge. We've got Reality Rift up, though. Here comes the Chaos Bolt. No. High Ground messes up. Now we've got Empire giving chase here with SS. Meanwhile, though, we will lose whoever that was. Darkseid in the bottom lane. And now the Surge has run out, and now Tiny being slowed significantly. Buyback there from the Darkseid in the mid lane now. Reinforcements are arriving. Here comes Hanny. Hanny thinking about it. He's getting ready here. Reality Rift back. A 2 seconds done there. Now here comes the counterattack. BKB pop though. Tiny turning it around. Tries to take him out there. The ult there from Shadow Demon. Going to slow down the Chaos Knight. Can they bring him down? Batrider goes down. Sven now in the mix. Chaos Knight's down as well. Sven though is not to be trifled with. Sven gives chase. Tiny goes down, but he's got the Aegis. It was big bait. Sven though trying to take out Shadow Demon, just getting away. We've got the vacuum there. The wall gets tossed down as well. Sven now gets tossed, gets stuns out though just in time. Trixie though blocking there. A baseball bat to the face for Sven. Sven goes down once again. He's got no buyback up. And a godlike there for Error. They've managed to protect him just enough this game, and they could go for another tower now. Another Rax. We've got 30 seconds, and we know exactly how fast Tiny destroys buildings here. A Tether, trying to save Lena. Can they bring him back? Vacuum's back. This may just be a double kill for them now if they've messed this up indeed. Surge forward there as we're going to have the Iron Shell burning down Goblin. Goblin, though, 4-staffing away. He's being healed up there by Whis. The urn, nicely done there. Whis will actually manage to get them out, but this is the issue here, of course. 20 seconds now. Can Tiny get to this building in time? Yes, he will. Creeper in the base. That's what they need. This is getting rid of the... Oh, no, Tier 2 tower. No, they're going for the top one, sorry. Tier 2 tower, of course, protect the base tower there. But here we go. Tiny now tearing through this. He's popped out a Laguna Blade there on Trixie. Trix taking a severe amount of damage. Throws out his own stun. That doesn't hit anything, though. Lena actually getting stunned there by the Malphus. They're going to settle with a tower. Black Hole, BKB. Here comes Tiny. Surge back in. And the cleave damage is going to wreck them there. Toss in there as well. Tiny, though, Flaming Lash through 4 seconds done. They're stacking their stuns. A bit of a misplay there from Empire. They're stacking their stuns. No tell. Trying to teleport out here. Can he get away? Illusion's hammering him. Will get taken out. Tiny, though, still tearing them apart here. Will take out... No, he hasn't actually killed anybody here. In fact, Tiny may be in a bit of danger here. Does have... buyback gold. Yes, 8,000 gold in the bank. Yes, plenty of buyback gold. Going for Lena. Can he get her? Brings down Lena just in time. Goes for another one there. Tiny will get taken out there, but they will get Batrider as well. Sven the ulti up. Sven's gonna get some revenge here on Hanny. Hanny skewering away. No, Hanny gets away. And Urn, though, will burn him down. Bottling up will save his life here. 2 charges to bottle will be enough. He needs to teleport out. Blinks away. Oh, no. Will be spotted up here by the orbs. Doesn't have a teleport here to get away. No, he's going to get enough. Oh, he will just sneak away there. Sven gives up and just goes to farm creep. Wow, Fnatic. That definitely Empire managing to save that top Rax, keeping them in this match. 1 Rax down, you can recover from that. And they've got the recovery tools here. It's the form of Sven. Holy crap, Sven. And then, of course, Chaos Knight, who is no slouch here. He does hit pretty damn hard. And he has, of course, the Vladimir's offering for Sven as well. Doesn't hit anywhere close to Sven, but of course 4 times crit, you pop out a few of them, it does sting. That said, Tiny decides to buy back, and this is not for the gold, this is mostly for the timer. This is saying, okay, we're not under any pressure here, don't need to waste that buyback timer, so they've got it for when they need it. Anyway, so we have a moment to catch our breath here. What do we
Tower is
do?
under
Okay,
attack.
I was interested to see No-Tail not actually pick up a Ghost Scepter. That would really, in fact, I think he'll pick up one next. That would really benefit him. We see here, of course, Darkseer running around with one. In fact, all these heroes, I think they could use a 4-star on Shadow Demon as well. Shadow Demon also picking up the Ghost Scepter. They could use a 4-star on him just for mobility, because like we said, those disruption saves are things that can turn a fight around in the blink of an eye. So a 4-star for mobility would be good. That said, they could also do with a Ghost Scepter on Enigma. I mean, hell, even Magnus could do with a Ghost Scepter. He's not hitting that hard. He's using power to buff himself up, but it's not that crazy. And I mean, it's more important they keep him alive in these fights, just to get his spells off, the skewers, the shockwaves. I think he could even do with that. Meanwhile, though, it looks like the tier 4 is down here. It looks like, well, basically, Fnatic are quite happy to stall for time here. The Creep are doing their job right now, just chipping away at these buildings, chipping away at this tower here. And of course, they have the high ground advantage here as well, so they're fairly happy. And of course, Tiny can actually go down the low ground. Of course, as long as Shadow Demon is here ready to disrupt, Tiny can go down there as bait. He's quite durable. In fact, I think he's building a... That could either be... I feel like a Butterfly would be the best choice from... The armor value is nice there, and the attack speed is probably the best effect, but it could be potentially... Actually, no, I think it's going to be Butterfly. If it was going to be a Heaven's Halberd, they probably would have opened with a Sange. Or, I mean, actually, it could just be a flat-out Talisman just to help him basically avoid damage. I mean, it's good all round. I mean, when you're taking damage there from Spin, a missed chance is always fantastic. Same for Calstone. It's going to help him just basically be more survivable, give him more EHP. That said, though, I would like him to see him to finish a Butterfly. I think he's just saving to make sure he's got cash for the buyback, though. I think a Butterfly, though, again, best choice. To say it again. If you're gonna get yourself a Talisman Evasion, why not? And there we go. It will be. There we go. He's finished it up right now. Oh boy, Tiny. And agility on Tiny, of course, is very, very beneficial just because, of course, his attack speed. He wants that attack. He's got the damage already. He's looking for the attack speed more than anything else. And there you go. Look at him swing. Got to remember, this is just game 1. This could go any way in game 2. And either way, both teams are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs in January. Keep that in mind as well. So whoever falls here today will be rewarded at the very least. They will get that finals position. So we'll probably get to see them play again in January. And that's when they'll be playing for the big bucks. Tiny still with that Midas. A lot of heroes would ditch the Midas at this point in time. But Tiny, he wants it. And it's mostly, I think, just for the attack speed value. It is really good value. And there we go. He's just going to try and beat down on this building here. And now these guys are out of position. What are you doing? You need to get back here. Right now, because they're not back here. And that Rax just drops. There we go. Now they're jumping on Tiny here. They're going to try and drill him down. There we go. Polarity was bait. Polarity shift. Here comes the black hole. Catching all 5. That's game, set, match. Oh no, Ultra Kill, GG well played. They could just throw it from there out in an Ultra Kill for Tiny, and he was just bait indeed. They panicked, they said, holy crap, Tiny's wrecking our buildings, charged him, got the last 2 down, bunched up, and then it was just game over there. That's the combo I was talking about. Magnus and the Black Hole, they only got it off, a big one off once in the game, but it was when it counted. Empire vs Fnatic, game number 1. Stay tuned, guys, we have game number 2 on the way, just after a short 5-minute break. Holy crap.